Welcome to the Getting Healthier Together module on healthy eating. This video can help you understand what healthy eating is, use a technique called the plate method, explore the 5 food groups, understand the parts of a food label and know how to interpret the information, and create an action plan for yourself. What is healthy eating and why is it important? Healthy eating means eating a wide variety of foods without getting too many calories or too much of any one nutrient. Experts agree that the key to healthy eating is the time-tested advice of balance, variety, and moderation. Healthy eating means that you're having a variety of nutrient-rich foods every day, including bread and other whole grain products, fruits, vegetables, dairy products, meat, poultry, fish, and other protein foods. Along with what you eat, healthy eating is also about how much you eat. It's healthiest to eat moderately sized portions. When portion sizes are reasonable, it's easier to eat all of the food you want and still stay healthy. Here's a question for you. Is this statement true or false? Healthy eating means that everything you eat has to be a healthy food. If you think the statement is false, you're right. Not every food has to be perfect. You just want to make sure you balance your food choices over time. When you eat a food that's high in fat or salt or sugar, select other foods that are low in these ingredients. If you miss out on any food group one day, make up for it the next. Food choices over several days should fit together into a healthy pattern. Healthy eating goes along with staying at a healthy weight. The weight that's right for you depends on lots of factors, including your gender, height, age, and heredity. Excess body fat increases the chance for high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, some types of cancer, and other illnesses. Being too thin can increase your risk for osteoporosis, menstrual irregularities, and other health problems. If you're constantly losing weight and then gaining it back again, think about speaking with a registered dietitian. Here's another question for you. We've talked about having a variety of food, watching the portion size, and balancing food choices over time. What have we left out? What else is likely to help you stay at a healthy weight? A special scale? Not eating one day a week? Exercise? If your answer is exercise, you're correct. Getting regular exercise is also important for helping you reach a healthy weight and stay there. Do be sure to talk with your healthcare provider before you start any new exercise program. In Part 2, we'll be talking about how to figure out the healthiest portion size for each of the food groups. Have you heard of something called the plate method? The plate method is a way to help you decide how much of each type of food should be on your plate so you'll be eating in a healthy way. There's a My Plate worksheet available to you, and it looks like this. If you want to follow along, you can pause this video while you locate a copy of the worksheet and something to write with, or you can just watch for now and use the worksheet later on your own. To use the plate method, imagine that this circle is a typical 9-inch dinner plate. We'll draw a horizontal line across the middle of the plate, dividing the vegetable section from the starch and protein sections below. You can do the same on your worksheet. Draw a vertical line between starch and protein. The vegetable section takes up 1/2 of the plate, and the starch and protein sections each take up 1/4 of the plate. Write the name of any non-starchy vegetables you like to eat in the vegetables half. Our examples are broccoli and carrots. Write the name of a protein you like to eat in the protein quarter. Our example is chicken. Then, write the name of a food from the bread grain group in the starch quarter. Our example is brown rice. Write the name of a fruit in the bowl next to the plate, for example, apple, or any other fruit you enjoy. Then, to finish the menu, write the name of a food from the milk group in the glass to the left of the plate. You might want to try this on your own with several variations. Using the plate method can help you develop your own healthy menus. As you've seen, the technique is very easy to follow and it can be used as a guide to balance a meal and eat healthy. Now that you know about the plate method, we have a few more tips to get you started with healthy eating. Have you ever noticed that people tend to fill their plates, whether the plate is big or small? It's natural to want to use up available space. So one tip is to put away any oversized dishes and bowls out of sight so you don't use them. Instead, stick with a 9-inch basic-sized plate. Then use the plate method guidelines to fill half of the plate with vegetables and the remaining 2/4 with starch and proteins. Did you know that one serving of protein, like meat or tofu, should be the size of a deck of cards? And one serving of a starchy food is equivalent to 1/2 to 1 cup. If you're not sure if you're choosing the right portion size, measure your serving. After a while, choosing the right amount will become a habit. Have you heard that variety is the spice of life? Choose lots of different kinds of vegetables and add fruit and a serving of dairy for a well-balanced meal. The last tip is to use the food pyramid drawing as a guideline. It shows how many servings to aim for each day for each food group. 6 to 11 servings a day should come from the bread, cereal, rice, and pasta group. 2 to 4 servings should come from the fruit group. 3 to 5 servings should come from the vegetable group. 2 to 3 servings should come from the meat, poultry, fish, dry beans, eggs, and nuts group. 2 to 3 servings should come from the milk, yogurt, and cheese group, and we should only eat fats, oils, and sweets sparingly. In Part 3, we'll be talking more about each of the 5 food groups. For the purpose of talking about healthy eating and making good food choices, the foods we eat are divided into 5 food groups. The 5 food groups are vegetables, bread, starch, grain, meat, protein, milk, and fruit. There's a strong relationship between the things we eat and our health. Watching your food intake doesn't mean you're supposed to stop eating. It's just a matter of learning how to combine different foods in a healthy way and eat them in the right portions. Let's start with the vegetable food group. Vegetables should take up half your plate. This might be more vegetables than you're used to eating. By increasing vegetables, you're bringing your meals back into balance and adding fiber, vitamins, and minerals you might have been missing. Vegetables also help fill you up without filling you out. It's best not to have just one kind of vegetable because you can get tired of even your favorite foods that way. Try a small salad and half of a cooked vegetable for more variety. Some vegetables are high in starch and carbohydrates. Those vegetables belong in the bread and starch section of the plate. Examples of starchy vegetables are corn, peas, yams, potatoes, and winter squash, which has a hard shell. So, just to be clear, corn and peas should not be on the vegetable half of the plate. The next food group is bread, starch, and grains, which should be in 1/4 of your plate. You can eat a variety of foods in this group. Examples are pasta, rice, bread, cereal, crackers, small tortillas, potatoes, and dried beans or chili. Use a small bowl for cereal and soup so it fits nicely into a quarter of the plate. As we mentioned earlier, some vegetables like corn, peas, yams, and winter squash are high in starch and carbohydrates, and they belong in this group also. The third food group is meat and other proteins, which should be in the other quarter of the plate. This includes any type of meat, fish, poultry, tofu, eggs, and nuts. These are high in protein, but are sometimes high in fat. It's important to remove visible fat before cooking and eating it. Remember that low-fat foods are better for your heart and your waistline. Healthier cooking choices include baked, broiled, and boiled items that have little fat added. Healthier fats are in fish such as salmon and mackerel, and nuts, with the exception of coconuts. The fourth food group is milk. Find a small coffee cup or glass that holds about 1 cup for foods in this section. Fat-free milk, skim milk, 1% milk, and light yogurt are your best choices. Use a small dish for a serving of light ice cream and sugar-free pudding for variety. You need 3 servings a day from this group to get enough calcium. Based on 2005 dietary guidelines, teens also need 3 servings. If you don't drink milk, talk to a registered dietitian educator about ways to add calcium to your diet. The last food group is fruit. 1 serving of fruit is 1 small piece, like a small apple or a small orange. Use a small dish to hold fruits like applesauce and fruit cocktail. It should hold half of a cup. Juice servings should be about 1/2 of a small coffee cup. Remember, juice doesn't fill you up, so consider eating a small orange instead of drinking juice. Some fruits have less starch and carbohydrates than others, so you can eat a little more of them. These include melons and berries. Use a small bowl for the right serving size. Now that you know all about serving sizes, it's much easier to understand the information on food labels. We'll talk about that in Part 4. What is a food label and what is it used for? Food labels give us important information about the contents and nutrition of the food. Having this information can help you choose the best foods for planning your meals. Food labels typically have a nutrition facts heading followed by 12 sections. We'll briefly go over each section now, starting with serving size. It's very important to identify the portion size since some packages contain more than 1 serving. Servings per container tells you how many servings the product contains. The calories section refers to the amount of energy that each food serving provides. You can usually find the number of calories from fat on the same line. This number is important because very often most of the calories come from fat. Total fat tells you the total amount of fat grams that 1 serving of the product has. This amount is the sum of the saturated fat, unsaturated fat, and cholesterol. Saturated fat tells you the amount of saturated fat found in the product. This type of fat is in meats, butter, lard, pork fat, and other foods that come from animals. Trans fat raises your bad cholesterol levels and lowers your good cholesterol levels. Eating trans fats can increase your risk of developing heart disease. Cholesterol is a type of fat that's contained in some foods. To control high blood cholesterol, it's important to consume foods that are low in saturated fat and high in fiber. For sodium, in general, the Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends an intake of less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, or about 1 teaspoon of salt. Total carbohydrates represent the total amount of carbohydrates, fiber, and other added sugars. This information is especially important if you're counting the amount of carbohydrates you're consuming. Fiber is a substance found in foods that come from plants. Some fiber helps in the digestive process, and some fiber may lower cholesterol and help control blood glucose. Proteins are one type of nutrients. Cells need proteins to grow and to mend themselves. Beef, chicken, fish, milk, and eggs are examples of foods that contain animal products. Beans, tofu, and whole grain cereals are a good source of vegetable protein. The last section is vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are organic substances found plentifully in less processed foods. These are essential to normal metabolism and growth. Insufficient amounts in the diet may cause vitamin or mineral deficiency and may result in disease. In Part 5, you'll have a chance to read food labels to find the items we've just discussed. Reading food labels carefully gives you the information you need to make good choices for yourself about what you'll choose to eat. We'll be showing you 4 different sample food labels and asking you questions about each one, just to give you a little practice with finding where the information is. This food label is from a package of chocolate chip cookies. What is the size of 1 serving? Is it 1 cookie for 3 servings, 3 cookies for 1 serving, or does 1 cookie make 1 serving? The correct answer is that 3 cookies make 1 serving. On the same package, what percent of your daily recommended amount of sodium is in 1 serving of cookies? Is it 4%, 12%, or 7%? The correct answer is that 1 serving of these cookies makes up 4% of the daily value for sodium based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. Still on the same package, what percent of your daily recommended amount of total fat is in 1 serving of cookies? Is it 4%, 13%, or 12%? The correct answer is that 1 serving of these cookies makes up 12% of the daily value for total fat based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. The second food label is for a package of pretzel sticks. How many calories in 1 serving of this product come from fat? 110, 19, or 0? The correct answer is that there are no calories from fat in 1 serving of this product. However, are there any calories at all? The answer is yes. 1 serving of this product has 110 calories. Which item in these pretzel sticks has the highest percentage of your daily recommended amount? The answer is sodium. Eating one serving of these pretzel sticks gives you 17% of your daily value for sodium based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. Here's a food label for a package of green beans and a food label for a package of classic potato chips. Which product is higher in carbohydrates per serving? The potato chips are higher in carbohydrates, sometimes called carbs, with 23 grams per serving compared to 4 grams per serving for the green beans. Which product has more saturated fats per serving? The potato chips, with 22% of your daily allowance, compared to 0 saturated fats for the green beans. Studying food labels before you buy can definitely help you make healthy choices about what you choose to eat. In Part 6, we'll explain how you can use a personalized action plan for healthy eating. An action plan is like a roadmap. It turns the decisions you make about what you want for yourself into practical steps for getting where you want to go. There's an action plan for healthy eating handout that's available to you, and it looks like this. You begin using the plan by reading through each of the choices to see which ones might interest you most. The choices on the healthy eating action plan are organized into sections, including eat a variety of foods each day, eat less fat, cut down on salt, and eat more foods with fiber. The idea is to choose the action items that you want to do. You can also write in your own goals in the other section of the handout. You may be tempted to check off a lot of the boxes in the list, but it's better to start off with just 1 or 2. Lifestyle changes are made one step at a time. If you're overwhelmed with too many changes at once, you're less likely to reach your goals. You can always add more goals later as you continue making changes that move you towards the better and healthier life you want. When you're finished making your choice, there are 4 questions for you to ask yourself based on what you selected. You've already answered the first question, which is, what behavior would I like to change, based on which checkboxes you've selected. The second question to ask yourself is whether you believe that it's possible for you to do the things you've selected. Answer with a yes or no. The third question to ask yourself is, what must I do to achieve this change? Make sure that you identify a specific action that goes with what you want to change. For example, if you choose that you want to add fresh vegetables to your meals, decide which vegetables you'll have and when you'll have them. Write your method for measuring whether you've reached your goal in the space provided on the action plan. Deciding how you'll measure your success is a very important part of this process. The fourth question is, when will I make these changes? Think about how long you think it'll take you to make this change in your life, then write the date for when that'll be in the space provided. The last step for creating your personalized action plan is to select your confidence level for making the change you've decided to make. To do this, select a number from 1 to 10 for how confident you feel that you'll follow your action plan. A confidence level of 10 would be the most confident, and a 1 would be the least confident. If your level of confidence is lower than 7, think about choosing something else on the action plan, or maybe giving yourself a little more time to make the change. There's one final handout that's available to you, and it's called Healthy Eating: What You Need to Know. The handout has a summary of the key points from this video, and we hope it'll be useful to you. Thank you for your time and for participating in getting healthier together.